Is there factoring you need me to practice with you? Is there anybody in this class who relies on slide and divide, and so we need a little more practice on one's? It's what students do when they don't know what to do with this 12 out front. It's a fancy way of solving these, but it's really better for solving, not for factoring. Because when they factor, they forget to change things how they should be. Like you would do 12 times 63, and then you'd find factors of 63 that of whatever that answer was that differed by 1 and blah, blah, blah. But what? Nobody? Everybody's okay on those? Please ask. Which one? The last one? With a coefficient? What's the first? How's the first one factor, guys? Yeah, the first one is difference of squares, so it just factors what? Yeah, 9x plus 8, 9x minus 8, and then you would solve, because it says equal to 0. Everybody knows when to solve and when not to solve? Okay, I don't know. I don't have a cursor. Give me a second here. Okay. So this one is a pain in the neck. What's going on? Yep. Yes. I need factors of 12 to put in that first part of the parenthesis here. Could try 6 and 2. I don't know what's going on. I've had this happen before. I don't remember how I fixed it. What is this jumpy thing? I feel like I had to shut it down, which is not a good plan. All right, so if we wrote 6x and 2x, I don't know why it's doing that. What would factors of 63 be? Okay. Can I put the 9 in with the 6? How do I know? Because they'll be able to factor out a 3 if you did, right? And you can't factor a 3 out of everything, so therefore it doesn't work. So if I put the 7 here and the 9 here, does that work? 14 and 54, that's not going to differ by 1, right? What else do you want to try? 4x, 3x, still 9 and 7. The 9 would have to go in here, right? This would be 27 and 28. That would differ by 1. Which one do we need to be greater? We need a 1 in the middle. So we need the 28 to be positive and on the 27 to be negative. It's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to have to do something here. All right. 4x minus 9 and 3x plus 7. And everybody could solve from there. And this is, how do I know this is one I have to solve? Yeah, because it says equal to 0. All right. What about the next couple? This one we could take out a what? An n squared. So then we'd have 4n squared minus 31 n minus 45. Now do we need to practice some more with the coefficients? This could be 2 and 2 or 4 and 1, right? Oh, I know what people did last time on this. People forgot that n squared. Guys, that's still part of the answer, okay? When it says factor completely, you can't throw anything away. Doesn't equal 0, we can't solve, so we have to keep it. Factors of 45. Where do you want to put what? 5 and 9, 9 and 5, 5 and 9. So if we tried 9 and 5 here, we'd get 18 and 10, which aren't going to differ by 31. If we do 9 and 5 this way, we get 36 and 5. We need a negative 36 plus 5. Does that seem to work? Do you kind of get what I'm doing, or does it still feel like magic? You just got to practice looking at those middle two terms, the inside terms and the outside terms. All right, factoring pattern for a sum of cubes. I don't know really how else to teach this anymore, guys. I feel like I've talked about this till I'm blue in the face. Okay, what is the cubed root of 216x cubed? 6 and x. What's the cubed root of 125? Okay, once you've written that down, you don't look back up here for anything. You have to take this whole term, which was a, and square it. What's 6x times 6x? Then in the middle, you have to take the opposite of a times b, which would be 30x, plus b squared, which is this guy squared. And it doesn't factor further, and you need all of this. If you need more practice, there's a lot of factoring practice in the remediation bin over there. There's 2 or 3 different worksheets in the one that says factoring. I put them all in a nice little bucket over there now and labeled them because there's going to get more all the time. All right, what do you need me to do here? Can you graph a parabola? Find some points. You get to use your calculator, so you'll be okay there. What about this? How do you find the vertex of this guy? Without using your calculator, maybe? X equals negative b over 2a, and what do we come up with? Positive 24 over 2 times 6, which would be 12. 24 divided by 12 is 2. Then how do we find the rest of the vertex? 6 times 2 squared minus 24 times 2 plus 5. I get 19, but that's probably wrong. Negative 19? Negative. All right. Just for practice, could you rewrite that one in vertex form? We found the vertex. This is vertex form. Anybody? That is a question on the quiz. Well, how do you write this? X minus 2 squared minus 19. And we keep the a, which is 6, and it's y equals. That's it. We okay? It was awful quiet for a minute there. I was scared. Yeah, I would say that's this next problem. Can I skip this one, or do you need to practice it one more time? You want to do it? Okay. Who tells me what to do? Okay. You could use your calculator and find the vertex if you had to, but I would prefer you showed some work and did negative b over 2a. Does that come out 2 again? No, 1. Oh, this is a 2. I can't read. Oh my goodness. I was getting ahead of myself, I think. Negative 8 over negative 4 is positive 2 again. Okay, if I put a 2 in here, -4, -8, plus 16 is 8, minus 1 is 7. Anybody get 7? Now what? Squared. Is it right if it doesn't have the squared? It's not parabola then, so be careful. All right. Remember these fun ones? I like these because I'm a loser math teacher. So how do we start? Y equals A, parenthesis. You already know this vertex, so how do we put that in? X minus 3 squared minus 1. Don't forget the squared. Makes a big difference. All right, and then what do we do to find the stretch, the A value? Do you remember? Plug in the X and Y on the other point. So we put the 2 in, the Y in for 2, the 0 in from that other point. Okay. Now this is where some people mess up because remember this is A times 9 minus 1. So it's really 9A minus 1. When you add the 1 and divide, you get 1/3. So Y equals 1/3 X minus 3 squared minus 1. Is there 100% way you could check that? Put it in your calculator and make sure it goes through 3, -1, and 0, 2, right? And it looks like that. For more practice on these concepts, for standard 5 here, Q5, I think all of this stuff is on worksheet 7. Does that sound right to you guys? And we only did part of worksheet 7. We only did like 8 or 9 problems. So if you want more practice, go back and do some more on worksheet 7. All right, applications. There might have been, was there applications on 7B? I know there was on 9. I feel like 7B, yeah, 7B had this kind, right? 7B had these, and then 9B had the other kind. How long till it hits the ground? Do you need me to go over this or you got this? Yeah, just put in your calculator and find a good window. What, I'm not checking the window necessarily this time, but tell me what kinds of things you could think about. What does this plus 12 mean? It's going to start at 12. If you do 0 to, and then this is time, okay, it's not going to take very long to come down probably, right? It's might go up high, I don't know. But you should see something like this, and then you want to know the 0 here. Do you need me to go over that one? Any more practice on the calculator? Anybody? Okay. What about these fun ones? 8 salespeople. Sorry, I can't talk. 8 salespeople average 40 sales per visit. As the number of salespeople increases by 2, the sales drop by 4. Total salespeople to employ. It's kind of vague. I just tried to squeeze it in the box, so I didn't put a lot of fun explanation in here. But there is a little chart on the quiz to help you out. Okay, so it might say salespeople, number of sales, and yeah, total sold or something. This would be sales per visit. So what do you want to put in there? Right now we have 8, 40, and 320. Okay, if we did one more numerically, it says the people goes up by 2, so sales people was this one. So if this goes up to 10, what happens to the number of sales? Drops by 4, so this would go down to 36. Are we still in good shape though? Is it still going up? Okay, so what do we want to write here? Algebraic expression, or you won't get full credit. You can mess around with it until you find the answer. But if you want the 5, you got to be able to write the algebraic expression here. This started at 8 and it's going up by what? So plus 2x, where x is number of changes, we'll just call it, that we make. What's this doing? So what do you want me to write? 40 minus 4x. Okay, what might be an appropriate window? Look at this right here. How many times can this go down by 4? 10 times. And we already know that it could go up past 360, right? I might put 450. All right. Why don't you do this one on your calculator? What are we looking for? Maximum. Good job. I already forgot what it was. 4 plus 2x? It's underneath my thing here, guys. Oh, 8 plus 2x. And then 40 minus 4x, is that right? So my window of 0 to 10 and 0 to 450 worked out pretty well, I think. Everybody getting it to work or not? I got a max at 392. Anybody not getting that? All right. Total salespeople to employ. Answer? Careful. Yes. X is 3, right? Which is the number of changes we should make. So this, if you put a 3 in, it would be 8 plus 6 is 14. If you put a 3 in here, it'd be 40 minus 12 is 28. And that should be how they got the 392. So the total sales people to employ to maximize our sales would be 14 people. More practice on that was worksheet 9. I have another one on a slide if you want me to do another one of those today. All right. Do you need me to go over evaluating a function? This was on page 9 and 10, I think. Any of this? Rate of change, do you remember how to do that? Rate of change, I'm going to, actually, this uses this number. Rate of change when x equals 4, between there and 2. Do you remember how we did this? Put a 4 into the function up here. I need help. 16 times 3, 48 minus 44, 20. I got 31, but that's probably wrong. Put in a 2 up here. Anybody get 4 and 31 and 2 and 7? Okay, now what? Rate of change. Do you remember what rate of change is really? Slope. So now what do we do? 31 minus 7 over 4 minus 2. 24 over 2 is 12. Put in a 4, get out a y value, put in a 2, get out a y value, and then find this change in y over change in x between those points. Do I need to do another example? Becca, you good? Melanie, you good? All right. Is this a function, this one up here? It's a parabola, right? Is this a function? Yes. Could you draw me something that's not a function? Okay. What about a list of numbers? How would you know if a list of ordered pairs was a function or not? Yes. Can the y repeat? Yes. But can the x's repeat? No. We good? Oh, there's one more. What about this guy? You have to put an a minus 4 in here and here. And Hofbauer's mean, and you have to do what? Yeah, you got to simplify this down. Okay. Somebody is going to get slapped upside the head by Batman, right? Remember my meme? Robin getting slapped. Can you distribute a squared in there? No. Can't do it. You have to square that quantity. So you got to go a minus 4 times a minus 4. You could distribute the 3 through one of them first. I usually just do this and then distribute the 3 through all of that. And then this is minus 6a plus 24 plus 7 back there. So what's a minus 4 times a minus 4? Minus 8a plus 16. So I get 3a squared. I don't have a lot of room, guys. Minus 24 and minus 6 more is minus 30a. Plus 48 plus another 31. 48, 79. I don't know. Did anybody do more work on their paper and get that? Yeah. 3 times 16 is 48 plus 31. I don't know. I skipped a lot of steps because I don't have room. Okay. You can just do it on your paper. Don't try to follow my work and make sure you get that. Okay. Domain and range of this function. Right here. This f of x guy. Domain. There's no denominator and there's no radical. So it's negative infinity to infinity. Range. It's a parabola that opens up, so it's going to have a bottom, right? You'd have to figure out where that minimum y value is. We could do negative b over 2a, or someone could graph it. Negative b over 2a would be 1. If I put a 1 in, I get 3 minus 6 is negative 3 plus 7 is, what did I just say? 3 minus 6 is negative 3 plus 7 is 4. I think the vertex is at 1, 4. So it goes 4 and up for the y's. All right, can you estimate domain and range from this scribbledy graph over here? It's totally an estimate, but I just want to practice one more time. Domain. Negative infinity to infinity. Range. Well, this is supposed to be a 5, I think, so I don't know. We'll call it 7. But how do you write that if it's range? Bottom to top? Everybody okay? You're scaring me. I have more practice if anybody needs more practice on domain and range. Continuous. Is this function right here continuous at 7/2? Well, that's a weird question to ask, but it makes the numerator 0, but does that matter? As long as it doesn't also make the denominator 0, it's continuous. So this would be yes. At 0, put in a 0 top and bottom, you'd get what? -7 over -4 or +7/4. Is that okay? Is it continuous at 2? Where else is it discontinuous? Yes, if you factor the bottom, it has undefined places at 2 and -2 would also be a no. Even, odd, or neither? What's your best bet? Graph them? Yes. This does have an x to the 0, so both exponents are even. What does it mean to be even or odd or neither? You gotta know that. Even is what? Y-axis symmetry. Odd is origin symmetry or point symmetry around the origin. This one I think looks like this. Did anybody graph that one? Is that what that one looks like? So what do we get? It is even. Somebody's going to think it's odd because this has a power of 1 and this has a power of 1, or neither. But you'd have to FOIL it all together to find that, to follow that hint. What about this guy? Yeah, this is odd. If you graph it, guessing it's doing something like this. All right. Coordinate geometry is on here. Do we need to review all this? Yes, Miss Hoffbauer, because it's been a while and we don't remember. Distance, midpoint, do you remember? How do you find distance? Yes, change in x, which means subtract, squared plus change in y squared. So -3 minus -2 are the x's, and 5 minus -1 are the y's, and we still got to square root that mess. You type it in and do it correctly. I think you get square root of 37. Anybody? And you can simplify with it. That doesn't simplify. You could give me a decimal approximation. I don't care which you do. Okay, what about midpoint? Average the x's, average the y's. And you're not going to be like my directed study kids did and just type this in as -3 plus -2 divided by 2, right? Don't do it wrong. You have to put parentheses around the top if you're going to do it that way, right? Otherwise, it's going to divide first and then add, and we want it to add first and then divide. I think you get -5/2 and 2. Did anybody get that? Or -2.5 and 2, or did I do something wrong? I think that's right. Slope. Change in y over change in x. I got -6. Did I do it wrong? Okay. How do you graph this guy? I can't believe I'm still putting this on a quiz, honestly. You could put it in y equals and put it in your calculator. Ew. Whose math team are you on? 5/3 x plus 5. So you could go up to the y-intercept at 5 and then go up 5 more and over 3, right? Do you remember the other way we did those? Yes, if you put a 0 in here, you would get a 5 out. If you put the 0 in for the y, this would be -3. Then you plot -3, 0, and 0, 5, and you connect them. Calculator. Okay. What would a parallel line to the one above have? Same slope of -6 and a perpendicular. Wasn't this a -6? So then it would flip over to +1/6. Are we good? Okay. That's it? All right. What else? I have opened every homework assignment. What can I help with? Look at all this down here. No, there's not a box question, but I can do one off the homework if you need me to. Was that worksheet 9? Number 9? I didn't do this with you guys. Must have done it with a different class. Not this time. Okay. So the area is x times y. That seem okay? But the fencing, he has 500 feet of fence, and he used 3 of this length of x. And there's a y across the top here that I can't quite fit in there. So we'd have 2 y's. We're supposed to maximize the area, so that's what we want to put in our calculator is the area. So we need to get rid of the y maybe. How would you get this so that it said y equals 500 minus 3x all divided by 2, or 250 minus 1.5x if you wanted to use a decimal. And that goes back in here for the y. So then you're finding the maximum of x times 250 minus 1.5x. And once you find the maximum, that's the maximum x, which is one of the dimensions, but you also have to plug it back in here to find the other dimension. Do we need to use the calculator to finish that one, or you got more questions? I can do it on the calculator? Yeah, Ariana. Melanie, you have questions? Or you want me to do this one? Yes? Okay. It was x times 250 minus 1.5x. Okay. That's the maximum area. I'm thinking it's actually really high, but I'm gonna just I don't know. I'm gonna try 0 to 50 and 0 to way bigger. Yeah. What? Yeah. See, I just tried something. So this is what you would see. But yes, it goes higher. So I don't know. I'm gonna do 600, and I think this is really high too. Ooh, I went a little too far. I'm a little baby, but that's all right. I still can find the maximum in that little tiny window. I don't remember what I used for the X. I got 83.3 for the maximum. My window is not good, but it doesn't really matter. and I don't really care what the maximum area was. The dimensions would be 83.3 by, and then I need to put the 83.3 in here. So if I did 250 minus 1.5 times 83.333, I get 125 roughly. And those were both feet, I think, weren't they? Yes. Better? Yes. What else? 11. All right. When they charge $4 a ticket, the average attendance is 400 people, so they're bringing in $1,600. For each 20-cent decrease in price, so this is going to go down by 20 cents. What happens here? Increases by 40, so this would be the next one would be 440. So what did we start with and what did we add? Plus 40x. Yep. So I'd have parenthesis 4 minus 0.2x, parenthesis 400 plus 40x. I'm just going to try the window I had. Yep, ridiculous. It can't, this actually can't go out past like 20, because 20 times 20 cents would be $4, and then you'd be down to charging nothing. And I don't need that high of a window either. Oh, just kidding. I need a higher one. Oh, it was 1,600. I thought it said 160 under there. Okay. 2,000 might not even be enough. There we go. So my window is 0 to 20 and 0 to 2,000. So if I calculate the maximum between 0 and 20, it occurs at 5. And how do I find the actual cost then? 4 minus 0.2 times 5 is $3 is the best price, I think. That's supposed to be a dollar sign, squiggle, sorry. If I put the 3 in here, I'd get 520 people to come. And 5 times 520 is that 1,800, I'm thinking? No, $3 times 520. What? Is that where the maximum was? I don't know. What did I do? Did someone else get this answer? Oh, this is not. Guys, stop me. 5 times 40 is 200, plus this would be 600. And 5 times 600 is, no, $3 times 600 is $1,800 would be the maximum. Oh my goodness. I'm just a hot mess. What else? Was there something on another worksheet someone needed? Or book assignment? Ballpark concessions manager, find set of vendor as an average of, okay. So when 20 vendors are working, they sell 40 popcorn per game. which is 800 boxes sold. For each additional vendor,